Hey, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how some people always seem to get what they want, influence the room, or move others to their way of thinking without raising their voice? What's their secret? Well, today, we're going to discuss 10 psychological tricks people use to gain power, and I'm going to show you how they work, how to spot them, and how you can use influence ethically in your own life. Welcome to Mind Matters Expert. This isn't just theory. We're talking real-world examples, step-by-step insights, and practical tips you can start applying today, or use to protect yourself from manipulation. So let's start with something fundamental, the power of reciprocity. You know that feeling when someone does you a small favor, and suddenly you feel like you owe them. That's reciprocity in action. Psychologist Robert Cialdini identified this as one of the key principles of influence. Imagine a coworker helping you finish a report. Later, they ask for your support in a meeting, even if you weren't planning to agree. Step by step, they give first, you feel indebted, and you comply. Here's the trick. Pause before reciprocating. Ask yourself, would I do this if they hadn't helped me first? And if you want to use this ethically yourself, give value genuinely, no strings attached. People will respect that. Next up, let's talk about authority. Authority is powerful because people tend to follow those who appear to have expertise, titles, or status. Think about a manager who says, I've been doing this for 10 years, and suddenly no one questions their decision. Step by step, they display their credentials, speak confidently, and reduce room for debate. Your tip here? Focus on the logic, not just the title. And ethically, the best leaders build real competence and let their authority come from skill, not intimidation. Now, here's one that shows up everywhere: scarcity. Scarcity creates urgency. When something feels rare, we value it more, sometimes irrationally. You've seen it in action. This opportunity won't last. Only 2 spots left. Step by step, a limit is introduced. Fear of missing out kicks in, and decisions are accelerated. Simple tip. Take a breath before deciding. Scarcity loses power if you pause. Use it ethically by applying real deadlines transparently. No fake pressure. Another trick is social proof. Humans are wired to follow the crowd. If people think everyone else is doing it, they're more likely to conform. Imagine someone saying, in our company, everyone stays late. The steps are clear. Highlight majority behavior. Suggest deviation equals exclusion and push compliance. Your tip: question if it's really the majority or selectively presented. Ethically, share authentic examples. That builds trust. Then there's the foot in the door technique. This one is sneaky. Start with a small request, and once someone agrees, they're more likely to say yes to something bigger. Think of, can you review this report? That turns into, can you take over the project? Step by step, get minor commitment, reinforce consistency, expand the request. Here is a tip. Treat each request on its own merit. Build trust gradually, never trap someone. Let's talk about silence. Yes, strategic silence. Silence can be uncomfortable, and people often fill it, sometimes giving concessions. Picture a salary negotiation. One party makes an offer and then stays quiet. The other side often adjusts their expectations. So count to 5 before replying. Be comfortable with the pause. And, ethically, use silence as thinking space, not intimidation. Here's a subtle one: emotional labeling. Assign someone a positive identity, and they'll often act consistently with it. You're the kind of person who takes responsibility, you might hear. Step by step, assign the label, tie it to behavior, trigger consistency. Just a tip: notice when someone frames your identity to influence you. Ethically, reinforce strengths without manipulating. Information control is another classic tactic. Control what people know, and you influence their perception. For example, a manager shares only partial performance metrics before asking for agreement. Step by step, limit context, shape interpretation, guide decisions. And the tip is, always ask, what might I be missing? Ethically, full transparency is the path to lasting authority. Trick 9 is divide and conquer. By subtly dividing groups, a person can maintain control. Imagine a leader giving slightly different instructions to different team members. Step by step, they create small mistrust, reduce communication, and maintain central control. My tip here: encourage open communication to reduce manipulation. Ethical leaders foster collaboration, not artificial competition. Finally, let's look at confidence projection. Confidence shapes perception. Even when you're uncertain, You know, two candidates might give similar answers, but the more confident one often wins. Step by step, think steady tone, controlled body language, and reduced hesitation. My tip is, confidence matters, but substance matters more. Ethically, develop real skill and present it confidently. So, how do you protect yourself from all these psychological power plays? Here's a simple framework. Slow down decisions. Separate emotion from logic. Ask clarifying questions. Look for missing information. Reassess commitments independently. And get neutral perspectives when needed. Awareness is your strongest defense. Remember, influence only becomes manipulation when it hides intent, removes consent, or benefits one side unfairly. True leaders use psychology ethically. They earn trust, not fear. All right, before we wrap up, here's your challenge. Which of these 10 tricks have you noticed in your life or at work? Which one do you think you're most susceptible to? And if you had to teach someone one trick to use ethically, which would it be and why? Drop your answers in the comments. And tell me, what topic should we tackle next? Influence in the workplace? Persuasion in relationships? Mindset hacks for negotiation? Let's build this community together. Power isn't good or bad, it's a tool. When you understand these tactics, you can recognize manipulation, strengthen decision-making, communicate effectively, and lead ethically. The most powerful people aren't those controlling others. They're those who understand human behavior and choose responsibility. Thanks for watching Mind Matters Expert. If this video added value to your day, give it a like, share it with someone who could benefit, and subscribe for more practical mindset and growth content. Drop a comment. I'd love to hear how you're applying these tools in your life. See you next time. Stay focused, stay empowered, and keep mastering your mind.